Howdy ho, class. So today we're going to talk about, let's get that straight. Today we're going to talk about the x-acto blade. This is an exciting, very versatile tool, but it is particularly dangerous because it has a very pointy end. It's a rather nasty end that is very much designed to cut. And so let's move you upright and move that out of the way. There we go. And we can see that, where's that green coming from? Okay, turn that off. Cool. Okay, a little better. The x-acto blade comes in a couple different parts. You have the handle, which is actually going to sit in your hand, right? And then there's the grippy part, which you'll pinch up on or hold with. This is the chuck, and it's where the blade goes. And then you have the blade. There's a bunch of different types. We ask for a number 1 type blade, which looks like this, right? It's just a long cutting edge that runs to a point and then kind of backs off. And then there's a variety of different safety caps, which I would argue is the safety cap is the most important part of the tool itself. And so let's assemble this. So you start off by putting the grip into the handle, and you stick the chuck into the handle through the grip, and you can get that started. You kind of screw that in a little bit, but before you start putting any pressure on it, you want to put the blade into the handle. So it looks like this, and then, yep, just like that, all nice and even, and then you screw by the handle until everything's snug. And then from the spine, not from the cutting edge, you just hold that and you give it a little tug, and everything's nice and snug. And so then you can put your safety on, which at any point when you're not cutting, you should always have the safety on. I'm going to put the big safety on because those small safeties, I always lose them. I lose them so quickly. But we'll put that aside, and you can see that underneath me, I have this nice, this is 2 parts of or 2 cutting mats put together to kind of make a bigger cutting mat, which makes it a little bit more economical in the purchasing because you can purchase at points. And I'm gonna lift my chair so that I'm nice and comfortable while I'm cutting. But you definitely want your x-acto blade. You're gonna want a cutting surface that you're not going to, that is self-healing or designed to be cutting. Now you can get away with a cutting board if you want to, but the cutting mats are nice because they're forgiving. They're like a soft kind of gooey plastic that lets the tip of the blade survive for longer. And then I have a nice steel ruler. The steel on the ruler is nice because you can run the blade into it and it won't bite into the ruler edge, whereas a plastic ruler or a wooden ruler, sometimes you can mar and nick them up, and then you pretty much don't have a straight edge anymore. You have a chunky, bitless, jagged thing. And then I have a nice, bit of blue paper. Nice blue, sparkly paper. So I have something to cut, and then I have a pencil. And so let's say we want a nice geometric shape here. Geometric shapes are nice because they're good and easy. And I'm going to start over here towards the edge of the paper, mostly because I don't want to cut a singular large shape out of the middle of the paper and then not have waste a whole sheet of paper. So if I can maximize my usage, I'm going to be doing a little bit better. And I'm going to use a Sharpie instead of a pencil. You can use a pencil, but I'm going to use a Sharpie so my lines show up. And let's make this, let's say we want 5 inches. And let's move over here and go over here. And let's say that, this is a nice geometric shape. And let's say that we want the interior gone as well, so we'll make some lines over here. Nice and easy. Now, if you were cutting this and you wanted a little bit more exact, you would certainly use the the ruler to measure so that you had nice even edges and everything. I'm kind of playing this by eyeball. I like this. It kind of has a nice Polaroid-y kind of shape. It's a little off. It's a little fun. I think that could be fun. Maybe something goes through it. Another shape goes through this. Okay. So we're going to want to put the ruler down. And so you put the ruler down, and you want to apply pressure to the ruler. If you don't apply pressure to the ruler or the paper, then when you go to cut, everything just goes wiggly-wom on you, and it kind of moves around. So nice pressure, and I'm going to use my index finger as far out as possible and my thumb as far out as possible on the ruler. And the next thing you'll notice is that I have this facing diagonally to me. People like to cut vertically. Vertically is very comfortable. You can kind of see everything as you go, but vertical runs into you. So if you offset it diagonally, then you can't run into yourself, and then you're not, if the blade runs, you're not going to poke yourself with the sharp end and have a bad day. And so we're just going to quickly cut this. And I am holding this kind of these two fingers and then pushing in with my thumb. And then I think the most important part is I'm letting this rest in this kind of area of my thumb. The handle kind of sinks back. And so there's one cut, and you can check to see if you made a full cut by just inserting the blade tip in there kind of surgically and looking up. And yeah, it looks like the whole thing has been cut. Let's do another cut. And I'm going to find the edge of my last cut. I'm just going to bump the ruler up, and that way I don't have any intersecting cuts being, if I cut this over and cut that over, then I have little tiny flippy flaps there, and that just doesn't look good. Spin that around and keep going. And so something that you can observe, and we'll pull the camera down for a longer view, is I'm actually dragging the blade at a pretty acute angle to the paper. I'm maximizing the amount of cutting surface. And I didn't quite get all the way there. If you get a little tab, I have a little tab here that is hanging, a little hanger. You can just kind of come back, and I'm going to freehand it. You could put the ruler back down if you wanted to, but I'm going to freehand it. It's not a big tab. And then now we have our rectangle out of there. Let's go to this view. I'll kind of put you over here so you can maximize. Okay. And so you can see that. I got my ruler all nice. And I'm going to go, I'm starting off there we go. Yeah. And I'm going to go all the way across. And you can see how acute that angle is. I'm not cutting like this. If I cut like this, I mean, you can cut like that. Let's go back over here and we'll do it correct. You can cut like that, but you're minimizing two things. First, it's rather unstable. You can get a little to cut at this angle. You get wobbly, and you don't have a lot of surface contact on the ruler. The second thing is this blade is designed to slice between material. The blade is not designed to rip the material apart. It's designed to slice nicely. And so by making that nice acute angle, I'm getting nice clean cuts that maximize the amount of life out of the blade, and I'm maximizing my contact to my surface area, or contact with the cutting substrate or medium. And so, boom. Now we have kind of this weird Polaroid square. I'm going to bring you back up here, and that's cutting geometric stuff. It's nice and easy. You have a nice straight edge that you can really take your time, measure, get accurate. But what if, let's get another piece. What if we wanted a squiggly shape or an organic shape, something a little bit more curvular and not as nice? And I'm going to put my blade back in because I'm not going to use it. I'm going to draw a little bit here. Let's say, again, I'm going to start at the edge, so when I cut something out, I still maximize the amount of material I have remaining, so I'm not flying through material. It's going to save me money in the long run, and boy, do I love saving money. Coupons are the way to go. But also, let's think here. Oh, wait, no, I'm going to move the Sharpie, not the pencil, so we can see. Let's say we want, I'm feeling a bit of one of these shapes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a nice shape. It's kind of a islandy shape. It's kind of a, maybe a Nike swoosh. So here, I can't really line up the ruler anywhere, right? It wouldn't make sense to make all these small little angle cuts against the ruler. That just would take too much time. So I'm going to freehand. I'm going to start at a comfortable position, and I'm going to start away from me. And I'm going to wrap my blade, roll slowly around, and it's about a medium amount of pressure. I'm still at a very acute angle to the paper. We'll pull you down here in a second. But I'm going to just kind of slowly take my time and follow the outside edge as much as possible. So I'm getting, there we go. Now I'm back to the outside. If you go a little bit, that's not so bad. No one will know, only you will, so that's okay. I'm going to follow that along until I become uncomfortable. And then, instead of moving myself, which would be impossible because there's a big desk here, I'm going to move the paper so that the paper is nice and comfortable. And we're just going to keep moving along. And you'll notice that I'm holding the paper very much the same way that I'm holding the ruler. If I don't hold the paper, then yeah, the paper just moves, and that's no good. Let's bring you down again, and we can see from kind of a side view this nice cutting action. Oh boy. Oh, no, come on. Okay, maybe I'll just move. There we go. Oh, bouncing. Okay. And maybe we make that a point. So maybe we meet there. That feels about right. Kind of an intuitive feeling to that's going to be the best for our shape. And whoa, I'm cutting way away from me, right? That's wicked uncomfortable. So let's move the paper again. There's no harm in stopping. I'm not picking the blade up while I stop, but you can totally do that. So let's get to a point where we want to stop. So start at the other end again. And my hand keeps getting in the way. There we go. Here we go. That nice acute angle, nice and slow. Medium pressure. I'm not cranking down on it. It's not, lifting weights at the gym. But I'm also being pretty firm. A pretty firm amount of pressure as I move along. And this is nice thin material, so it's nice and easy to cut. And if I wanted to, I could pick the blade up and move the paper, and then you just want to find the end of the cut and start up again. Okay. Here we go. Going all the way down. And now, with the edge of the blade, I flick, and my shape is free. And this is a pretty cool shape in itself, this kind of negative space. That's kind of a fun shape. And this is a pretty fun shape too. Oh boy. So let's talk real quick. Let's pause on the cutting action. Get to see my wonderfully crazy hairdo. Ooh. I'm gonna put the blade back. That was not smart. I should have put the blade in the safety beforehand. And let's talk about the container. Now, in each room, there is a container for dead blades. We put them in a special container because we don't want them going into the regular trash where they can stab the trash bag and rip the trash. At best, rip the trash and put the trash all over the floor. And at worst, they actually cut somebody's hand or leg, or somebody throws something important accidentally into the trash and they reach in there, and then off their finger goes. So you always put your used blades in something, a safe container that seals itself, and then you can throw away that container, or that container can be properly emptied. In the classroom, over by the coffee maker in 111, is a blade can, which is, I believe, red and duct taped, and it says used blades. In 113, I believe it's over by the sink. And I should be showing you right now, like Vanna White, I should be displaying that container and being like, yes, this is the place to put used blades. How do you know a blade is dead? Let's take a look-see. So I just bought this, this blade. So this is a fairly new blade. It is a little used. And this blade is dead. Very, very dead. So let's take a comparison. Let's get that in focus. Stop shaking, get in focus. Okay. So we can see there it is. One blade, this blade, has a nice point on it. It's a new blade. This blade has a flat top. I've run this blade into something and it has died. It no longer has that nice point. That cutting surface doesn't run to an edge. So this blade is dead. And if you cut with this blade, this bad blade, then it would give you raggedy edges. It doesn't slice through the material, the fibers that are binded to make crisscross to make the paper. It's trying to blunt force tear its way through, not slice and cut those fibers apart. It's trying to rip them apart, and that leaves you with little fuzzies and other nasty cut parts. It's no good at all. So every once in a while you want to check the edge of your blade, especially if you start getting fuzzies. Whoops, that's also a dead blade. A couple dead blades in my box. Yes, and so that is an X-acto blade. And the most important part, just to reiterate, is the cap. Because, yeah, if you don't put the cap on and you throw this in your backpack, it'll cut a hole in your backpack. Or it'll cut you while you're reaching in to grab a math textbook, and then, oh gosh, that would be bad. So always put the cap on if you want to. I've seen people that get a little concerned about this, and it's not a bad idea. You can take a little bit of tape, and you just right over the top, and then your cap's extra secure, and you don't have to worry about your cap falling off. That's not a bad idea, although it does cost you a bit of tape every time, and tape can add up. I think a better solution is putting it in a nice, safe container, like a pencil case or a toolbox, or somewhere that it can slide back and forth, but it can't shake its way free. Whereas if it's against books and just floating around in the back of your backpack, gosh knows. But yeah. Okay, so let's call it for an X-acto blade demo, and if there's any questions, please give me a holler.